Big Gold Belt Media is your golden standard for all of your media needs. Visit biggoldbelt.com for pro wrestling info, movies, comics, and even more digital content. On all of your social medias, follow us at Big Gold Belt all across the board. Listen to this show and more on your SoundCloud or wherever you get your podcasts.
Like, how's my hair look?
I think it looks fine.
We're on podcast.
I thought it was going to be video. That's why I was like, wait a minute. Should we get prettified for this? But I guess it's for the photos. Hold on. I sent Jen the questions, but she was like, should I have given this to Mallory? I said, no.
No, because you want to catch me off guard, right?
Nah. Because I like to do things freeform. Blame the therapist in me.
You get things genuine that way.
Yeah.
It's so quiet when nobody's
I
talking.
know. But again, as a therapist, I'm sort of used to like the uncomfortable silence. It's like,
not.
Gotta keep talking.
If I don't keep talking, then the ADHD just takes over.
Oh, that's not good if you have like multiple people doing ADHD.
Then you're both stimming.
Mm-hmm. Like, nah, nah, nah. Just keep talking. Just keep talking.
Excuse me.
Smile and wave, boys. Just smile and wave. That's our line at work. Just smile and wave. All right.
Big old bell, big old bell, big old bell, big old bell. All I really want is that big old bell, big old bell, big old bell, big old bell. All I really need that big old bell, big old bell, big old bell, big old bell. All I really want is that big old bell, big old bell, big old bell, big old bell. Big old bell, at Rio Manolo.
What's going on, everybody? Damian G representing the Big Gold Belt podcast, Big Gold Belt Media, wherever you find all of your nerd culture wrestling as well as pop and all things convention. I am Damian G. Find me on all your social medias at Damian G Show across the board. That includes Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and the like. Special shout out to the Retro Cartoon Rewatch for sponsoring this episode of part 2 of a series that I just started to work on, which is called the What Is Your Why or Why the What? We're still playing with the title. Episode 1 was recorded about maybe 2 weeks ago with myself being the dummy to practice on. But today I actually have a very talented person that I came to meet maybe about 2.5 months ago. And depending on who you talk to, we kind of hit it off and we have a similar sense of humor, kind of dark, kind of sarcastic. Well, no, a lot of sarcastic, but she does some things that I love, and that includes sweets. So if y'all know me, y'all know how much of a crack addict when it comes to sugar and sweets I am. That is why I used to be 300 pounds, but no longer. So full disclosure, I was telling this to Jen the other day. When I first read your name on Facebook, I straight up thought it was Box-a-Lot. Box-a-lot.
I've actually had that a lot. And
I said,
they've been like, oh, where are you from? It's foreign. Like, no, it's a joke. It's Bakes-a-lot.
I was like, is she Croat? I don't get it. But in the studio with me now is Mallorey Bradford, I guess the CEO, owner, grand poobah of Sweet Things Bakery here in DFW. Thank you for joining me.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
So I start every one of these shows with the first question. And why is it you do what you do? I.e., what gets you out of bed in the morning and what's your why?
Well, originally I started baking kind of as a joke, but it turned into a business because I had a kid. And I noticed that when I was trying to prepare for his first birthday and everything, that there weren't a whole lot of all natural and organic bakeries in the area. I did not want to get him Kroger, Walmart cakes. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna venture out. I'm gonna try and do this all natural, organic, make it somewhat healthy, but still fun. And so that's really what started the whole thing, was that. And then it turned into, okay, well, I guess I'm kind of good at this and I really enjoy it. And I always knew I wanted to do something artistic and something expressive, and I found my outlet.
See, it takes maybe a whole lifetime to find their outlet. So kudos to you, because I know a whole bunch of people our age that still don't know what the hell they're doing with their lives. So, you mentioned you were good at this naturally, or you just realized you were good at this. So can you walk the audience through where you started to what got you from point A to point C?
Absolutely. So I come from a family that has German descendants. So baking has always been in our blood. I remember going up to my great-grandma's house up in St. Louis, and she had a kitchen that was one of those giant tables. So it was an island, but it was a giant table, and it was always filled with baked goods. All of those clear dishes that had like the lids on top and everything. There was always brownies, cookies, muffins, breads, like anything you could think of, it was on there. And she had one of those closet pantries, like walk-in. So you would walk from one end to the other, and it was like, a good 10 feet deep and come back out. And for some reason, the kitchen always intrigued me. And she was always in the kitchen and always baking. And I was always in there trying to help her. Actually, recently, my dad found some videos of that, and it was really cool. But so started there, always loved baked goods, always loved the smell of it, the atmosphere. It makes you happy. And so we started off there. Well, then in high school, I was a jock, and I played 3 different sports. I played soccer, track, and tennis. And I got pulled aside by my counselor. Oops, sorry. Went away from the mic for a second. Got pulled away by my counselor, and she told me, "Hey, you're great at the sports. We love that you love the sports, but I need you to be more well-rounded. So I need you to take some more electives that aren't sports related." Okay. I was like, okay. But the smart ass that I am, I said, "Well, I'm going to take culinary arts then." And she was like, "Oh, great. What makes you want to do that?" And I was like, "Because then I get to eat before soccer." And so she was like, "Fine, whatever." She'd kind of given up at that point. I was like, "Whatever, that's fine. As long as you're doing something, then we'll take it." And so I did. I took culinary arts, and it was 3rd period. So it was, right around lunchtime.
Of course it was.
And my culinary arts teacher, her name is Lisa Moriello, is actually probably a big portion of my how. So I know we went over the why, but she's my how. I started taking culinary arts. We did the cooking thing, and that was fun and everything. I've always known I was decent at cooking, not a big deal. But then we got over to the baking side of things. Right. And I don't know, I guess second nature took over or something. Like, it was just one of those things that I just found that I was naturally good at. And I think it's also because baking, while the decorative side of things is very artistic, the way that it's done is very scientific. So it's very like there's a reason for everything. It's not just throw it all together. It's a very specific way to build everything. And that appealed to me. I like structure. Right. And so I took the class, I started finding out that I was really good at this, doing it that way. My culinary arts teacher told me, "Hey, like, this is really great. I really think you should take the more advanced course." And so I did. I signed up for the next one the next year. And her husband was actually a head chef at Oliver's Fine Foods, and they were opening their first location. And so they had opened up Oliver's Fine Foods in Mansfield and wanted me to come in as one of their pastry chefs. And so that's where I got my start. I worked under Todd Bush and Clarissa Bush. They are retired now. They no longer have Oliver's Fine Foods, but they do. They still do events. They do caterings and stuff like that, but they no longer have the storefronts. But that's where I got my start. And I still, to this day, talk to my old teacher. She's one of my friends on Facebook. Oh, God. No, she loves it. She thinks it's hysterical. That's why I'm saying she's part of my why. And because she thinks everything's great. She's like, "You're expressive, but you're great at what you do, and you make people laugh." And I love that. And so, yeah, I mean, between her and her husband, that's where I really got my solid foundation from.
So considering that you kind of took it as an elective going all the way back to when you were a jock, had this not been your path and you chose sports?
I did choose sports.
Okay. What was the sport?
The sport, I had to knock off a few. So I knocked off soccer. It was too hard on my knees. Okay. So I ended up sticking with track and tennis. Track kind of phased away and tennis became the main point. Okay. But yeah, if I hadn't just been a smart ass and taken an elective on the fact that I like food, I probably would have never ended up where I ended up. But like I said, after that, I worked for Oliver's for a while. I did a couple other odd jobs. I actually worked in the dental industry for a little while, which is also really funny being a baker saying that I did that. But everything is good in moderation. It's okay. But when I was working there, I got let go around the holidays, and dentists do paid leave. So like Thanksgiving, Christmas, and all that, they all pay for their time off. So no one else wanted to hire me because they didn't want to have to hire me and then immediately pay me.
Sure.
So I was kind of doing the baking thing as a hobby. Like I said, my son had his first birthday, and that was what I was doing. And when I got let go, I was like, well, I guess we're just going to push this and see what happens. And it took off like wildfire. I can thank a lot of my friends for that, because a lot of my friends are what really pushed me through, loved my stuff, and continued supporting me, still continue to support me. But that's really what did it. And then I started bartending on the side to supplement, and now we're full blown. I don't do anything except for baking.
So are you a one-person show at this point?
I am.
Wow.
Every now and then, occasionally, I'll have a little bit of help, especially during the big holidays like Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day, I usually call in a little bit of reinforcement, but that's my other bakery friends that are local to the area. It's kind of one of the main reasons I've always pushed community over competition, because it really is a big community. If one of us is missing a cookie cutter or ran out of flour or ran out of sugar, like they always teased, neighbors, oh, can I have a cup of sugar? Like that's legit how the baking community is, as long as you're in the right group of people. There are some people that are a little bit more competitive, but for the most part, it's a really great community. But the rest of it, it's all me. It really is the emailing, the social media posts, the trolling.
Oh, we'll get to that later. Well, trust me, there's a pin in the trolling aspect that we're going to touch on later.
But yeah, it's just me.
Wow. So a lot of people don't have the mindset, and I've had conversations with people about the term entrepreneur. A lot of people are against that term for whatever reason. It's generated a buzz on social media that everyone thinks they're an entrepreneur.
I think it's because the word has gotten lost in its true meaning. Some people will call themselves an entrepreneur, and they're, Herbalife people, or, the lip sense, or, and that's not a true entrepreneur. I appreciate what they do, and they do technically work for themselves, but it's a completely different animal when you are the one person running everything, the websites, the emails, the products, from A to Z, it's all you. That's entrepreneurship.
Yeah, when you're the CEO, CFO, COO.
Owner, operator, everything in between.
Yes. And the only person on payroll.
Yes.
Sometimes you don't get to pay yourself.
Yeah.
As a lot of my friends know, like when you're doing this gig stuff, when you're doing this entrepreneurial thing, you don't take a lot of money because it all goes back into the business.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of that gets lost in today's generation of now, because they think just because you see it on Instagram.
They see the gross income. They don't realize that's not profit.
Bingo. That's not net, because when you divvy up, let's say taxes, when you divvy up everything else when it comes to supplies, overhead, if you make a profit in the first 2 years, kudos to you.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like I couldn't. Like everyone who knows.
Which is why they always say have a second job. You have to have a side job when you're starting a business. You have to.
Yeah. In my case, I have like 4.
Yeah. So I did too. When I first started, I did too. Don't worry.
So I understand the grind. And sometimes, I need to give people credit, and I give people like you credit, because I hate the promotional aspect of it. I despise it. I don't know, call me the grumpy old man, but I'm not the person on the look at me generation. I like to outsource those kinds of things. So do you ever get just tired of that part of it instead of just being able to focus on the baking aspect? Like, which one of those things, aside from the baking aspect, are you willing to give more energy to?
The promotional, I really don't mind so much. That's more fun for me, because since I'm a baker, I'm by myself most of the time. What am I going to do? Talk to a cake?
Or yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So the promotional side's actually fun for me. It's the admin work that gets me. So it's the updating the website, the answering emails, the sending invoices, all of that stuff. It's just the mundane. There's no fun in that. Now, granted, I still have to do it, but that's the one part that if I could outsource and trust somebody outsourcing, which is the bigger part, then I would definitely do that.
Do you trust anyone to do that?
No. Customer relations is such a big part of a business that I fear for the moment that someone just decided they weren't having a good day and took it out on clients.
Oh, yeah. So you'd rather the buck stop with you at that point.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, you've been known to ruffle some feathers, even though you don't, have a little bit of help. And I guess we'll just segue into that here on the Damon G Show. So you are known by me and a few others as a pretty damn good internet troll. If we were playing Yu-Gi-Oh, you use reversal cards very well on some of these people. So can you?
Sometimes the draw 4.
I just found out from Uno, the direct Uno people are telling you guys can't keep stacking it, and the general populace is saying, F y'all, we're still going to do that.
We make our own rules. You try telling a group full of people that are usually siblings that you can't do that.
That you can't stack. Give people an example of some, because people would think, oh, you're a baker, you do
They
this.
think butterflies and rainbows.
Yes,
and
it's like Rainbow Bright and all that stuff.
Yes.
So give me some examples of not even just angry customers, but just things that people might not be aware of that can garner a negative response.
So this will be a really funny one, because this one I had no clue I was going to ruffle feathers with. I really honestly was just making an innocent
Christmas
joke.
one?
It was the Christmas one. I was just being funny, because the ironic part was I made this cookie while also taking out my Christmas decorations. So I was kind of talking to myself.
Yes.
But I made a cookie that said, "Stop premature Christmas decorating." And I made a post on social media. And honestly, this cookie was actually 2 years old. It was a cookie that I had taken a picture of 2 years ago. And I still think it's so funny that I repost it every year.
Yeah.
Because it is. But I guess because I used the phrase, I said, to all you psychopaths that forget fall is a season. And then I posted the cookie. And I guess some people were triggered by the word psychopath. And some people were triggered by the fact that I was telling them to stop premature Christmas decorating. It might have been the word premature, too. I don't know. But either way, yeah, it pissed some people off. And they were telling me to mind my own business. And Christmas is a season, not just a day, things like that. And my favorite thing about that was the fact that people were saying Christmas is a season, not just a day. And I was like, and y'all forget that fall is a whole ass season. So let me have my fall for 2 weeks.
Correct.
And then you can decorate for Christmas. And the only part that I was really saying it about was because it was the day after Halloween. It wasn't even the fact that it was like, oh, it was a week after, oh, it was 2 weeks after, and I was posting this. Then I would understand why it would ruffle feathers a little bit. But it was because it was the day after Halloween. Halloween is my favorite holiday.
Got it.
So it was one of those, like, let me at least take down my Halloween before y'all start putting up your Christmas. But yeah. Woo, that was one I did not expect. I came out of the woodworks.
And I can attest to those listening. I saw the post. I didn't think anything of it because I'm one of those people that say, hey, can we get to Thanksgiving first before we bust out St. Nick and the elves and such? Because I'm a Grinch. And for those, we don't have camera in the thing, but there is a Grinch cookie in front of me right now. And my nickname is the Grinch. So I am very appreciative of that. But people just jump the gun. They
do. It's like you start seeing Christmas decorations before Halloween even ends. And I'm like, okay, y'all, come on. And then, of course, you have the people that are crazy and call Halloween evil. And I'm assuming those are the same people that are getting mad at me for saying, stop premature Christmas decorating. But like I said, the joke behind it all was the fact that I had just gone and dropped like $50 at Target for Christmas decor. So it was like, and I even put that in the post. I said, for those of you that are offended by this, like, I have Christmas decorations out right now. And people just didn't feel like reading. They just felt like attacking. It wasn't everybody.
No.
I say this, but like, you have to understand, in a post where there were like over 2,000 comments, this was a total of like 19 people that were mad.
Not even 1% at this point.
Exactly. So it was pretty entertaining.
I just love the whole let people have their fun. And basically that was your argument. Can I have my fun?
That was, they kept saying like, let people do what makes them happy. And I was like, and this is a joke and it makes me happy when you're trying to tell me not to have a joke. And they were just like, foot, open mouth, insert foot.
Foot me mouth, mouth me foot. And to go back to being the grumpy old man when it comes to social media, I feel as if, and maybe you can attest to this, that people not so much are easily triggered, but they don't read.
Reading is fundamental.
Well.
I can't tell you how many times a week I say this. Reading is fundamental. I even caught myself here recently. I was reading a post and I hadn't quite finished reading the post and I was getting a little bit angry at it at first. And then I read the rest of the post and I started laughing at myself and I said out loud, because while I was reading it, I was in the car and I started being all like, what the, I'm not, like getting pissy with it.
Sure.
And Nick is looking at me like, what do you, and then I like read the rest of it. I started cracking up and he was like, you good? And I was like, reading is fundamental. I say it all the time. I almost did it myself.
Because you can't retone. You can't. You can't.
And that's the hard part, is that I forget that sometimes with the way that I type things. Like, if you know me personally, you can hear my voice. You can tell when I'm joking about something, even if I say it with a straight face, because I have a lot of inflection in my voice. But when it comes to typing something out or shooting a text or anything, if I don't put a smiley face or a winky face or a laughing, crying face, like, nobody knows that I'm joking, I guess.
And in text message, that's another one. You have to follow it up, because if it's left up into interpretation, especially people with ADHD or attachment issues,
or trauma,
they're going to say, is that about me? Are they mad at me?
Instantly, yeah. And I've I've done a lot of healing in myself, and I forget that a lot of people have not. So while I may not be triggered by anything that's someone's posting or anything like that, I forget that other people can be. But like you said, I turn around and I try and make them laugh. If I can't make them happy about the post, the least I can do is try and like make them laugh or make them feel stupid. I don't know. Either way.
One. Someone's laughing at it.
Exactly.
If not you, someone else is reading it and getting a kick out of it. You mentioned healing and trauma, and you know this about me. You know, I am a therapist. I'm a clinical, therapist over a decade. So if you don't want to answer this question, that's fine. But when you say healing, not even so much what you're healing from, but what do you use to heal in moments where maybe, someone may be trying to find a way to heal themselves?
Well, first of all, put it down, walk away. That's the biggest tool that I can tell anybody. And I struggled with that for a long time because of my own trauma and the fact that I was never heard. So I've always fought to be heard and always wanted to, but no, like stay in the conversation and no, we need to talk now. We need to fix this now.
Yeah.
But throughout the years, I've, been given tools by therapists and by other friends and everything that have been through therapy, that the biggest one is if you feel triggered, if you feel attacked, if you feel upset, emotional, whatever, put it down, walk away. If it's a text message, put it down, walk away. If it's a person, say, I need some space. If it's a situation, walk out. There's so many times that you can solve the entire problem just by giving your body a moment to process what it's feeling. And so that's something that I've been focusing on a little bit more. So if I'm working and I feel myself getting tired and frustrated, I know I'm not going to do good work if I'm frustrated. So put it down, walk away. If one of the kids is driving me up a wall because we have 4 of them, then put them down gently and walk away. Let them have their moment. Let me have my moment. Tag team it out, whatever you got to do. But yeah, that's probably honestly the biggest tool. Second one would be therapy.
And what can you speak to in regards to the importance of therapy? Because I know there's still some stigmas out there.
There's a lot of stigmas with it. So healthy people need therapy. Yes. People with trauma need therapy.
Yes.
Literally everybody needs therapy. There's not really anybody out there that can fully say, I don't need therapy, because honestly, even as someone that's healing and working on that and has been healed, some things I don't realize that I'm doing until I go to therapy. And then I realize, oh, that's actually, I'm still sitting here self-soothing and I didn't realize that I was self-soothing. So I guess I need to figure out what's triggering me in order to force me into self-soothe mode.
Right.
I have a tendency to disassociate. And when you disassociate, you don't work through it. You don't figure it out. You don't even know really what's causing you to dissociate. So sometimes sitting in the room, just talking about it, and it could be something so simple like I've worked every day for the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
It's not even anything that's like traumatic, but it causes trauma. So yeah, everybody needs it. Honestly, I've got family members that, men and therapy is also a really big stigma. And my little brother for a long time had some, self-image issues, and it comes naturally with what we grew up with and everything. And so it was one of those, I finally told him, I was like, look, I love you. And so I'm going to tell you, this is probably the best thing for you. Go to therapy, or at least talk to me about it. And so he calls me and we talk things through, and he has been a much happier person now that he talks. So also helps that he's got a great girlfriend that listens too.
It's always someone.
It's always someone.
And that's another thing. People forget that even though you go to therapy, there are those outlets outside of therapy that you can go to and build that trust, or have that trust to be able to not so much say dump on people, but they can serve as a valve. Well,
and me and my best friend do that. So we both have been through therapy. We've both been through traumatic experiences. And there's always one key factor when it comes to that. We ask permission. So if I'm having a bad day and I need to vent and I'm having a moment, I recognize that she may be having a moment too. So if I come up to her and I'm like just spilling everything out that's happening to me, then it might cause her anxiety to spike. So first thing I do is ask her, hey, you got a minute? Can we talk? And if she says yes, green light, there we go. We'll sit here and we'll spill, and she'll sound things off. Sometimes she'll ask me, hey, are you looking for a solution, or are you just looking to talk? And a lot of the times it's just, I just need to hear myself talk. I just need to get it out. And that helps a lot. But yeah, having that one person, like I said, my best friend is probably the one she gets. She made a TikTok about me once.
Oh, no. The dreaded TikTok.
No, it was funny. So if you're into astrology at all, you know the signs. You know that Capricorns are very we're not emotional creatures at all. And we're usually very annoyed. That's just kind of the way that we are. And so she made a TikTok of all of the screenshots of text message conversations where, with no context whatsoever, I would just send her what the fuck? There was what the fuck, or this person, or blah, blah, blah. And she was hysterical, and it had me dying laughing because I was just like, wow, I really am like that, aren't I? But yeah, she's the person that I vent to about, oh, the traffic sucks, or, you know, oh, so-and-so pissed me off, or, oh, my clients are driving me up a wall. So, yeah. She's also the first person I call with the good news, too. You got to make sure you balance it out.
Yeah, because, you know, if you have that one friend that all you do is tell the bad news to, it's like, ooh.
It breaks them down eventually. They don't really want to answer the phone call.
Right.
Sometimes I call her and I just leave her voicemails asking her why she isn't picking up, just because.
I've had clients like that. The lack of self-awareness. Like, oh, wait, am I dumping? Yes, you're dumping.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm self-aware, so I'll go on a spiel of it already. We'll be like, I am so sorry that I've dumped all that on you. How's your day?
But at least you're well aware.
Yes.
See, some people, no matter how old you are not aware that what they're doing is actually not helpful. You know, we all have venting sessions. You know, there's times where I get up and I call Jen and I'm just like, But in reality, I realize, wait, hold on. How was your day?
Yeah, exactly. Let me ask you first before we continue this.
Right. But hiding behind that, some people will use it as a kind of a back door to just talk about themselves.
See, but that's why I don't ever start with that. I don't ever start with my best friend of, hey, how's your day going?
Yeah.
And then push the door open the rest of the way. No, I'll vent first and then ask, because I hate that. It also comes off from the MLM people, the whole, hey, girl, it's been so long. You look like you're doing so well. Oh, let me sell you this product real quick.
Have you ever been approached by MLM people in public?
Yes. Okay, so as a female, growing up in Arlington, we used to go to the Parks Mall all the time. Like, you know, 90s kid. Obviously, that was where we hung out all the time. But there's this one specific kiosk, and I'm sure every single female that's in the Arlington area will know what I'm talking about. They have the hair straighteners.
Oh, no.
And if you walk by them, they are aggressive. And if you didn't have your hair done that day, oh, my God, they were chasing you down. They were like, let me show you, let me show you, let me show you. And the trick was they would show you, but they would only do half your head.
Oh, that's wrong.
And so then you would be stuck either buying a hair straightener real quick.
That you don't need.
Or don't want, because honestly, it wasn't the best brand.
Right.
But yeah, that was, those people are relentless. They really are. The only ones that I like are the cookie people.
Of course.
They stand out there with their free cookies. I will never pass up.
I am never passing up a free sample. I don't care what y'all say.
I was going to say, it's really not even just the cookies. It's all of the food court.
Yes,
I will walk around and just everything.
Because, so growing up in New York, one of my first jobs was working in a mall. Manhattan Mall, Midtown Manhattan, it was one of the more luxurious malls in all of New York. But I worked on the 7th floor.
Oh, wow.
Which was the food court.
Oh, that's great.
So I was working at a video game store. So all throughout the thing, there's coffee, food court, all this other stuff. So I would wind up just making my rounds, saying hello to people. Thank you. Thank you.
Free lunch.
And you literally are full by the time you make a lap around the mall.
That's great.
It's great. And anyone who poo-poos free samples, screw you. Because you know what? Why not? It's there.
Exactly. And you never know. Maybe you'll like it, and then you go back and actually order it.
Maybe. No, what gets me now, and this happened the other day where I had to avoid one, it's the wine salespeople in the supermarkets.
Oh, I haven't encountered one of those.
Let's say either Central Market or Tom Thumb. They position themselves right next to an aisle that they know people are going to heavily populate. I avoid them at all costs because I know me. I'm just going to take the samples, and Jen thinks she's slick because she goes, oh, you want to try this? You like wine? I'm like doing the X, like not right now because I'm not going to buy it. I don't want to hear the spiel if I'm not going to buy it.
True.
So I do the whole like sneaking around, Mission Impossible, pretend they don't see me.
The trick is to just bring AirPods with you. Even if you're not listening to anything, just put them in your ears.
But part of me will feel guilty that they're trying to flag me down. And I'm like, nothing to see here. Nothing to see.
You're a male, though, so that doesn't come to you naturally. As a female, and being in the society that we're in these days, is very natural for me to ignore people now because I know my safety requires sometimes being ignorant.
Feigning ignorance. Yeah. or the proverbial, you have one headphone on, one off, just to make sure that you're not a standing victim at that point.
Always aware of your surroundings. It's sad, but it's true.
You know, and that's true. We live in a time now where you can't even walk down the block. And I'm not trying to take us on a rant here, but you can't walk down the block to the park some days in broad daylight.
I don't even run through my neighborhood. I used to. When I was like 19, 20, 21, I used to go running through my neighborhood every night. Like 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., that was my route. I would just run. But now I don't feel safe doing that. If I'm going to go run, I'm going to run in a public area where there's lots of people. And it's not the trails. And I love trails, so that breaks my heart. But it just doesn't feel the same anymore.
No, you're right. And as someone who works with the public, just a fair warning, just because it's a trail in a nice neighborhood, everybody, does not guarantee it's going to be safe. Nope. Because I can tell you from experience, I've worked in some areas of nicer parts of North Dallas where people are shocked that people are living in the actual woods.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so like, oh no, the world's coming to an end. It's like, you did not realize this was a possibility?
Yeah.
And that's just humans. We live in blissful ignorance a lot of the time. You said yourself, blissful ignorance. Mm-hmm. And then when the light bulb goes on,
some people don't want to, they don't even want to acknowledge it, though. No. That's why I was always taught, too. I was in a lot of self-defense when I was younger. My dad was very adamant on it. I give him kudos for that because now I'm the girl that everybody on my friends list knows don't mess with that one. Leave that one alone.
Oh, no, I remember the story you told me about the one fight and, you and Nick, and I'm just like,
which one?
One of them where all of a sudden you're knocking
the one in Florida?
Yeah, I believe it was. And you were just knocking people out supposedly, and I'm looking at you like, wait a minute, hold on. No wonder I like this person.
It was deserved. I don't swing without a reason, but Dad always taught me, don't start the fight, but you can finish it.
Of course, don't start, no won't be none. But if there's going to be something, you're going to
find out real quick. What's that video on YouTube right now? The level of fuck around is equal to the level of find out.
I love that phrase. I wish that phrase existed when I was a teenager.
Right? Man, that would have been bad.
I would have gotten in so many fights, but that's beside the point.
I forgot what I was about to say.
ADHD brain.
I know. We were talking about self-defense.
Yeah, so self-defense.
Okay, so when it comes to if you are attacked and you're in a public space, don't yell help.
No.
It was something that I was taught very young and has been something that I've always stuck with me, and my kids know, yell fire. People, for whatever reason, will run to a fire, but will run away from someone yelling help. So if you're ever being attacked and you have the chance to yell, fire is the word.
That's almost as if it's selective listening also. Mm-hmm. Where I come from, my old neighborhood, we don't see nothing.
Yeah.
Even though it's in broad daylight in the middle of the whole thing, you can see it verbatim. I ain't see nothing.
Mm-hmm. Well, and coming from a good neighborhood even, we have kids that are running up and down the street yelling help all day long because they're just being goofballs and playing, and they don't understand that I'm yelling a word that people should be helping me with. So, unfortunately, a lot of people tune it out because they think, oh, they're just playing. Mm-hmm. And they don't want to get involved and then get in trouble because they got involved even though it was just a joke or whatever. So, yeah.
What was that story? The boy who cried wolf? Mm-hmm. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think I know people talk about that this is probably the most safest society's been in a long time, but when you look at the pockets of people, it's not safe.
I think they say it's safe because they want to believe it's safe.
Going back to bliss for ignorance. Okay, I don't know how much time we have left, but I want to take it back to, your actual joys here. Mm-hmm. And let's face facts, because I just had a cupcake before I even came on air. You are obviously great at what you do because, yummy, you're good at what you do because you have backlogs and back orders. So besides baking, what is the favorite part of your job beside the actual physical labor portion of it all? My
clients, honestly. Like, they really are what keeps me going. I know we get those bad ones here and there, and they kind of overshadow everything else. And you got to remember, though, that that's just one, like I said, on that big post of all these comments,
right?
19 out of 2,000 comments, 19 customers out of 2,000 customers. You're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. I know I'm not. Like you said, I like to stir stuff up. So there are moments that I know I'm going to piss people off. But my clients that have my back. And I mean that in a great way. I actually just had someone this past weekend. She's been a longtime client of mine. I think she's been a client of mine for 5 years. And to those people that have been clients of mine for 5 years and longer, kudos to y'all, man, because when I first started, I was not great. So the fact that y'all have stuck with me through all of this, man, I really love y'all. But she had cookies made for her kids. They're going to Disney for Christmas. That's her Christmas gift. And so she wanted to give them an announcement, and she thought, well, better way to do it than with cookies. Yeah. And so she had these little packs made for each kid. She had 3 kids, and I was enthralled just to do that. Well, then when she took pictures of them before giving them to the kids and everything, she posted them in a group page that was like one of those Disney Mom group pages. And if you know anything about Disney people are Disney people. Yeah. They are diehard. So I don't even know how many people are in this group because I'm not a member of it. But for whatever reason, I ended up with a flood of emails from these people asking for cookies to do Disney announcements with their kids. And so it's the clients like that I didn't even ask her to do that. I didn't, think to ask her to do that. Like, I don't try and incentivize any of my clients or anything that way, because I like word of mouth to be genuine. And she did. And it was just one of those moments where I took the time out of the day. I was actually in the shower when it started happening and started getting the emails, and turned around and texted her. And I was like, Rachel, where did you share me? And she showed me the screenshot and everything. And it had like over 1,000 reactions on that. And it hadn't even been posted for 24 hours yet. And so I turned around and told her, I was like, well, if these people book with me, I'm sending you a gift card. But those are the people that keep me going. Because then she ended up turning around texting me saying, of course, thank you just for being you and doing what you do. Like, we love you. And that's the thing, is like, my clients become like my extended family. Yeah. I hear from them more often than I actually hear from family sometimes. But they're always the ones that are like, oh, no, we love you. We love you so much. We love seeing you do what you do. And every time I post any personal post, which is very rare on my business page, they're always the first ones to just like be overly supportive and show love. And sometimes they stop by with coffee when they know it's busy season or whatever. They'll drop off gifts. I've had clients that have brought me stuff from out of state. They're great. It's like my favorite part. I get to be a part of the most special moments in everyone's lives, the birthdays, the baby showers, the welcome home babies, the weddings. Like, it's all of these big moments, and I get to be a part of it. Just makes me feel special. It does.
Look, I see your face right now in studio. It's just like, oh.
I love it. I can't even tell you. Like, every time I get one of those text messages, it's just like, oh, you made my whole day. Or when I see the pictures and I see like the kids with the smash cakes or the wedding cake cutting pictures, oh my gosh, it just does something. I don't know. It's great.
What are some of the most randomest gifts a client may have given you as a thank you?
It's probably the fun, like, I don't know how to explain it, but it was another longtime client of mine. She's been a client of mine since the very beginning. She orders from me every reason she finds. Every reason. And her name's Angela. She's great. She made a wreath for me one time.
Oh, wow.
And it was like one with like cupcakes and lollipops and candy and stuff all over it. And it was like my colors and everything. Oh, I love it. It's the one that stays on my door when it's not a holiday. So like right now, obviously I have a Christmas one on the door and everything. But when it's just like a random day in March, that's the one that's on my door. I love it. But I've gotten like keychains, coffee cups, lots of coffee. They all know I love my coffee.
As evidenced today when I walked in, coffee?
Yep, immediately. I'm stopping to get some. I'm going to grab everyone else some too.
You know what's funny? I didn't start drinking coffee until I moved here to DFW.
Really?
In New York, I was strictly a tea guy.
There's so much coffee in New York too.
I had tea memberships and all this other stuff.
That's funny.
Tea of the month that got sent to me, but coffee for whatever reason, or caffeine pills in my case.
Oh gosh, the no-dos.
Oh, man. Are you old enough to remember Saved by the Bell?
Yes.
Jessie Spano, the episode where she was addicted to caffeine pills because she couldn't study, and she started singing these really bad Pointer Sisters. So people are worried that I'm going to turn into Jessie and just start sobbing. And I'm like, no, man, I survived the Red Bull days when it first came out.
Yes.
I'll be fine.
I survived bartending, which requires lots of energy drinks because they're on hand and they're free. And, or at least at the bars I worked in. Right. Yeah, we used to shotgun those. How horrible is that for you? Shotgunning a Red Bull. Like, goodness. And not just one, it was multiple.
So it's like the Stone Cold Steve Austin. You're just double fisting at the same exact time. Oh, no. Well, I've actually discovered one, and I'm going to say the word pause to cover my bases now. There's one called Balls. Oh. And BAWS.
I know which one you're talking about.
And it hits me later. But man, I made the mistake of doing 3, because Jen can tell you over the course of a night, like I was doing some content, I was staying up late, then I went out.
How long did it take you to go to sleep?
I didn't go to bed till 4:35 o'clock in the morning.
Do you remember, this one will take you back, do you remember Redline?
Yes.
Before it got pulled from the shelves.
Only take half, kids.
Oh, yeah. Me and my friend Lauren, we used to buy them, and like she would buy one and then she would split it with me. We were the smart kids. We didn't try and drink a whole one, but I saw friends that did. And I was like, man, are you on crack? Well, basically, though.
Basically, that's all it was. You get flush, every once in a while. Oh, no, that got me through my workouts when I first moved here. Just man. Redline.
Or even worse, Four Loko. Wasn't Four Loko like an energy drink alcohol?
Okay, so I'm one of the maybe 5 people left on the planet that still would be willing to drink at Four Loko.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So it's the equivalent, I believe, of 3 energy drinks, 4 beers,
something
or 2 beers,
like
and
it's
one.
It's high alcohol content, yeah.
And I made that mistake.
Those things hit you like a brick wall.
Yes, they do. Tell a quick story. 2011, I went to a karaoke bar in New York City.
Oh, no.
That's the first problem, because I don't sing. So me and my boy who was there from Oregon, came in. I hadn't seen him in a while. So we had always talked about drinking Four Loko because we're idiots. So we went to the bodega, got some Four Loko. There's still pictures on Facebook of me and him cheering it. And I tell you, I had 3.
Oh, no.
I don't remember anything after 9 p.m.
I was going to say 2 is like the limit. You were supposed to only have 2.
I don't remember anything after 9 p.m.
Oh, no. We only ever drank them at like house parties. So that way, at least if you got that drunk, you were just crashing. You're fine.
True. And then one of my a former friend of mine, now so more an acquaintance, she drank half. She doesn't remember pretty much half a whole day.
No.
Yeah. So Four Loko, you still got people buying your products. You advertise it on Facebook all the damn time.
I don't get those advertisements. I think that's just you.
Thanks. I think my computer is listening. So before we get out of here on the Damien G Show, what are some little known hobbies that would surprise people about you?
Hobbies. What are hobbies when you're a business owner?
I know one.
Okay, no, I can do this. So my dad used to be a video game tester. I love video games, and I will school anybody on any game. I may lose, but I'm still going to school you on it.
Okay.
Because when growing up, everyone jokes about the whole Mortal Kombat thing.
Yes.
Pushing random buttons. Yes. I can tell you that I did that, but I can also tell you I beat my dad 9 times out of 10 by doing that.
And he took it seriously.
I may not know what I'm doing, but I will still beat you.
So all my video game friends out there, Free Play Arcade, that's a challenge.
I love free play.
That is my go-to place. I love those guys and gals out there. So anytime.
The Fort Worth one has a Slurpee bar.
Yes, I've taken Jen to that. It's a tiki bar on the roof, and
yes.
Those slushies are really good.
Yes,
and potent. So where can people find you?
Find me
on social media.
Okay. I was gonna be like, so. My is at Sweet Things DFW. That's for Facebook, Instagram. It's also my website page. Make it simple across the board. So I'm on everything, though. I'm also on, what is that app? TikTok.
Oh, God, the TikToks, yes.
So we talk about stirring up things. TikTok is great for that because nobody on TikTok gets offended. Everything on TikTok is funny.
Everything's fair game on TikTok.
Exactly. And so whenever I piss people off on Facebook, I just move over to TikTok, and then we all make fun of the people that are pissed off on Facebook.
Any last word of advice for anybody who wants to get in your field?
Keep going. You're going to hit roadblocks. You're going to feel discouraged. You're going to have clients that try and take advantage of you and push you down, but just find your niche. Honestly, everyone in the baking industry has kind of their own little style. Mm-hmm. We can all tell each other apart based off of the smallest detail that you probably don't even realize you're doing. And it's just one of those industries where you got to build. So take it slow. Don't get discouraged, and don't jump too fast. Don't be one of those people that's been baking for a year, jump straight into owning a storefront. Take it slow. Texas has cottage food law, allows you to work from home. You don't have any overhead. Right. That's the right way to do it. So, yeah, just literally keep baking.
Just keep baking, almost like just keep swimming. On behalf of everybody here at Big Gold Belt Media, I am Damien G. Find me on all your social media platforms at Damien G Show across the board. That includes Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the like. I'm too old for TikTok. I don't care. I'm not doing it. You can't make me. I'm too old. I got grandfathered in barely to Snapchat. So that's
Speaking of grandfathered, it didn't used to be TikTok. It used to be Musical.ly.
Oh no! See, I didn't even know that. That's how old and out of place I am. But this has been What's Your Why here with Mallorey Bradford. My name is Damien G. Again, for those that don't know, find me on all social media one more time at Damien G Show across the board, and we'll catch you next time. Big old